Who will be in the top four? Oh, well, City, Chelsea, Liverpool. It's a bun fight.
He's not going to say Arsenal, Gab, so don't worry about that.
No, I can't say Arsenal.
Hod, who are we to tell Pep? But the times I'm like, get a centre forward.
Yeah, every time that ball flashes across the 6-yard box, you see it. You hear a commentator or a pundit. I'll probably say it next week when I'm doing them. They need a number 9 to get in there. But that's the way they play. They have so much of the ball, and they just change the angle of the ball. Eventually, they open teams up, whether you've got a number 9.
Do they overplay? I know it's crazy.
They can overplay, yes. I think there's times when they can overplay. For me, I think it's wonderful the way they play. I think as a football team, they're the best team in the world in many ways, even better than any international teams, the way they keep the ball. But it's for other teams and other managers. The test is for them. They've all got to come up with something that's going to cause them a problem. City cause you too many problems. So it's when you're playing against City, you've got to come up and say, right, we know they're going to have the ball. We're not going to be out to out-possession them. Let's do this. Let's try and take a little bit of a risk doing whatever they might want to do. So it's a real test, and I haven't seen anyone yet go, well, perhaps when they're actually attacking us, why don't we leave 1 or even 2 up and see what happens? See what they do. Something has to give, If not, they're just going to keep dominating teams. But, I think overall Chelsea are the most consistent team.
If you could play under one current manager, who would it be in the Premier at the moment? I think, would it be Klopp? Would it be Pep? Or?
Yeah, it's got to be Pep, I think, with that team as well. I mean, I love watching De Bruyne. And I've said about Phil Foden, they've got wonderful players.
You'd have some fun, wouldn't you, in that team?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Playing with them, 1-2s.
Yeah, it's lovely. They keep you got the ball. Talk about back in my day and what you earlier I heard you saying when you played wide, you had to defend and get back. And Keith was always getting me to go back, and I never played as a 10. You wouldn't have to at City. Yeah. You always got the ball, and but that's where I think someone's got to come up with some real ideas to cause them a problem at the other end.
Roger Middlesbrough, I love Gareth Southgate, but I don't think we'll ever win a trophy under him. Is that a bit harsh? He's knocking on the door, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I said earlier there, we've been in the semi-final of the World Cup, we've been in the final of the Euros. We're ready, and it's just about whether. As soon as you win something at club level or wherever, you then believe, you go into another gear, you believe you're going to win something again. And a lot of clubs, you see that, teams do that. Even Mourinho, first trophy was League Cup, I think, at Chelsea, and look what he did. But I think we've got to go on the front, we've got to have more belief about us. Going to Qatar, we're not having a long, hard season. Premier League, going at the end of it, it's always tough for England. It's the hardest league, always has been.
Josie says that, Glenn. He says
November they're playing in next year.
He says it's the hardest league here. That's why England have struggled. He says the hardest league physically.
Well, it physically takes so much out of you. No disrespect to Spain or France or wherever. You're not having to play at 100% every game. They can be 3-0 up away from home in Barcelona when they're at their best and coast and take people off. And in England, you've got to earn every single point. And I think the fact that they're not going to be shattered at the end of the season, going there, and it's going to be 27 degrees, it's going to be 28 degrees, it's going to be perfect for football. So there's no, they've got to go on the front foot, real belief that we have got the players and the management right. We're going to go there and we're going to be one of the favourites and take it by storm. Don't be on the back foot.
One last one, Glenn. I've loved this. Could do another hour. I'd love to. How did you, can I ask, were the managers, the Premier managers, especially the big boys that you were picking your nucleus of the squad from, did they help you, or was it hard to get players released?
Listen, club managers didn't want to release their players. I think Fergie was the hardest. Yeah. Sir Alex was the hardest. He was protecting his United
Did you
players.
have to speak to him?
Yeah, I had a battle with him a couple of times. Yeah, once we'd got to the World Cup, I needed players down for other things. I knew they were injured, and I write about it in the book, and we have a bit of a spat. But that's that. You move on from that. But I understood that as a club. But I would never, as a club manager, I would never, ever in a million years. I knew what it felt like to put that shirt on for your country. You did, Al. You did. It's an amazing feeling, isn't it? Now, I would never, ever take that away from a player, whether it was a friendly, anything. To represent your country is massive. And when you've done it yourself, you think, no, how could I sit there and tell a player, don't go and play for your country. I couldn't do it.
Even in friendlies?
No, even in friendlies, Al. I don't care. If you're representing your country in tiddlywinks, you got to have some pride about it. It's the most wonderful thing that you'd ever do.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.